So we're going to continue on our discussing Reddit posts. It's always a good time,
Yes,
and yeah, we've had a bit of a hiatus, Rippin. Um,
we have.
yeah, and it's been unfortunate. I
But
think you've been.
I've been sick.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know you've been sick, so it's good to have you back. And
look at this little one.
what's that? It's like a little glowy.
It's it was I wanted the Legos, so I bought Legos on AliExpress. But the Legos is miniature Legos, like it's really really small.
Hmm.
See, this is my hand, and this is the Legos. So you can see how small it is, right? But it's very cute. It's a bunny, a space bunny, and it has a light. Like,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, I can put it next to the camera to give some light. No, it
It's
doesn't
it,
change anything.
it's like a your little streaming buddy.
Yeah,
I've got
it's kind of cute. Yeah.
I've got my microphone. Oh, Alexis. Thanks for the
Hello,
sub.
Alexis.
Welcome to the
Hi,
stream.
Sam.
And hello, Sam.
Oh, thank you for hanging on my stream. This is always slightly confusing.
I've got
Okay.
Sharpat. Oh, it's an ad.
Yes.
Womp womp.
Sharp ad.
All right.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, if you haven't joined us before, is we're going to
Ooh.
talk about some Reddit posts that people have
Ooh.
dropped recently, and we thought they were interesting, and we'll just have a talk about it and put our 2 cents in. And everybody, please put your thoughts and comments in too. We love to hear about it.
See you is quiet. Oh,
Am I really quiet?
wait. I'm gonna put the volume up.
Hey, Cupid.
Ah, okay.
Thanks for the
Okay.
sub. Welcome to the stream.
No, that I don't need this.
Hey,
Because we are
stalker.
still on Discord, okay? Can you yeah, okay. It's gonna be okay. Okay, it's great.
I was on Alexis's stream just before, and we were playing. She had like a Nitro Gaming, which is like this car game where everybody in chat joins. And I won my
Yeah.
very first race that I joined. I was the fastest little bear in the
Ooh.
world. It was so fun.
Okay.
I don't think it's a game that anybody can just get. I think it's an early access. Uh,
Ooh.
Cupid says just pooping in for a few minutes. About to take his mum out for breakfast. Oh, that sounds good. Um, Sounds delicious. Hope your breakfast is nice. It's like marbles on
It's like
stream, but with cars.
marbles on stream.
Yeah, that's
What?
true. That is true. I've seen marbles on stream before, but it's not as fascinating to me. I like the little cars better. Um, all right, so shall we do our first Reddit story for today? This one's mine, I think.
Yes. Yes, it is yours.
Okay, so this one says, "Am I the a-hole for not keeping up with my wife's cleaning demands? I had a major fight with my wife a few hours ago, and I strongly think I'm in the right, but she is so angry, I almost feel like I'm the one that's crazy. I'll provide context. I married my wife 3 years ago, but we've been together for 6. One important thing to note is that she's extremely clean. I regret not moving in together until we married, because while I knew she was clean, I didn't know the full extent. Let this be a lesson to live with your partner before marriage. She is the reason why our house looks like a model home. She hates dishes in the sink, while I'm content to let them sit a while for a couple of days. She spends her days off
For a
scrubbing
couple of
bathrooms.
days.
well,
Oh
well,
my
let's
god.
let's let's keep out. Let's hold on for a moment. She's
Yeah.
because it's probably it gets worse. She spends her
I
days
think
off.
my OCD has trouble with this. Oh, go on, see you.
She spends her days off scrubbing bathrooms because in her mind they should be cleaned weekly. She doesn't let me bring shoes inside and insists I shower immediately when I get home before laying in bed. There are a million more things, but hopefully you have an idea. This didn't start hurting our marriage until we had kids. We had a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I'm a stay at home dad. I left work when our youngest was born, and that is when our disagreement on how to clean the home needs to be started to get on how
Need to
clean
be.
it needs to be
Yeah.
started to get bad. She expects me to do most of the chores now when it used to be primarily her, and I wouldn't mind if they were reasonable. She wants the children to have a bath every day, and I think 1 to 3 days is fine. She wants all of the toys put away by the end of the day, and I think there is no point as it will just be a mess again. She wants the dishes done daily. She wants all the house bedding to be washed weekly. She wants me to vacuum weekly. She wants me to mop every 3 to 4 days, since in her logic, the kids spend a lot of time playing on the floor. They will not be hurt or sick if I mop every 2 weeks. But I don't play along with most of her demands. Because I don't play along with most of her demands, she ends up being the one to do most of the housework when she gets home or her rare off days. She works
Oh
80
my
she
god.
works 40 to 80 hours a week, so it's a lot, but she does it to herself. I do what is reasonable. This all built up to today. She got home and saw that I hadn't washed the dishes and there was still grease/food in some of the pans and on the countertop. Also, I hadn't brought up the trash cans from the previous 2 days since they were emptied. She flew off the handle, calling me lazy and a slob. She said she would like for me to return to work since in her eyes I'm doing a poor job and I should use the money to hire a weekly housekeeper and nanny who wouldn't leave the kids in PJs all day. I got pissed and I told her she is crazy and she works herself up over small things and I will not be leaving my kids with a stranger. She packed her bags for herself and the babies and went to her mum's house. I'm furious. Am I the a-hole? So there you go.
Yes!
All right, so I missed a few things. Welcome in, Garish.
I find the edit very funny. But what the hell? What does he do? He's a stay-at-home dad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
So Cupid, looks like
Poor woman.
you got to get back to. Wait, are you getting? You're not working today. I'm confused.
Hi,
Um,
Burma.
you're popping in for a few minutes, about to take your mum out to breakfast. Wait, no, that's See you is always the a-hole. Oh, thanks, Cupid.
Oh god.
No, he says
Um,
he says you should get back to work. Yeah. So what do you think, Rippin? What would be your advice for this person?
well, Sam says that with two kids at home, it can be hard, need to be given a bit of slack, but agree part of stay at home is being the main hand with the chores. Um, you can give some slack on some days, but if this is on a regular basis, like every day, no dishes done, children in their pajamas all day long, every day, never taking the trash out, sorry, but no. But I mean, there's people who are okay with this, and there's people who are not, and I am not. How much is on Steam, schatje?
Mama, het etentje is klaar.
Hey,
Maar ik
it's
ga
little
het
Rippin.
koelen. Mini Rippin.
Hello, hello,
Oh,
little Rippin.
wanneer is het?
He
Yay!
wants to see you.
It's me. Hello.
Hello, Bear.
Hi.
His first steps into fame. Hanna, ik ken haar
You're on
even mensen. Je
TV.
bent op camera. Je bent op camera voor alle mensen. Hey, gaan we naar papatje?
Tata.
All right, thanks, Cupid.
Yeah, I agree with Sam. It sounds like it would be better for him to go back to work. I understand that maybe it's a bit difficult to leave the kids with someone else, but he needs to step up his game.
Hmm. I think the
I'm not.
situation is like he's the stay-at-home spouse, so I think he
I
needs to be
just
the
wonder
one
what he
who does
does
all the
all day
things.
then.
Yeah, that's true. I would
Because
say
I
that
understand.
like if I were living with him, I would I would get grossed out completely. Like
Yeah, me
I
too.
would not be able to stand having like your dishes in the sink for like days and not clean because that's how you get
And
like
I
roaches and
mean,
stuff.
I would not be able to stand not cleaning the floor for 2 weeks with a kid. With two kids, they spill things constantly.
Because that's where like I'm not sure if I would clean the floors every 2 weeks, but I don't have kids, so um, I think my floors are still pretty clean. But it like having kids changes the game completely. I think, or maybe I'm
I
a bit
do.
icky.
I do that every week, but I'm a clean freak.
Yeah, it's definitely like um, I don't know if I would be considered like if she would be too clean for me, but I'm definitely I can't live with that guy for sure. I think the lady
Um,
sounds probably a little cleaner than I am. I think
well, the thing is, I've lived with that guy, so
you live with that guy.
it's not easy. But yeah,
Have you always been the clean partner in the relationship?
yes. No, I don't mind the cleaning. It's just that if you constantly need to pick up after someone else, it does get a bit frustrating. Like you clean everything. I like everything in order because it gives me peace. But when you turn your back and then it's all a mess again, I don't like it. Yeah, that's just how it is.
I remember this is going back a long time ago, but
Mm-hmm.
I was in a relationship where the partner said that I was a quote a clean freak, but I don't consider myself even that clean. It's just that
I don't consider myself that clean either,
mm,
but
I think
you
people just
know,
have different like levels of what they consider normal, and yeah,
yeah,
these people are very different. You and I are probably
definitely.
on the cleaner side
Yeah,
of the scale.
we would cohabit in a clean house. I
And
think that would work.
hello, Vidal. Welcome. Welcome in. Oh, you got little cheery Vidals. I'm gonna reply. Yeah.
Ah,
Alexis says to put the kids in mop PJs. You know, I've seen that for dogs. Have you seen
yeah,
like you can get like little mop socks for like your cat or
yeah.
your dog, and then that supposedly it cleans your
You
house.
have them for humans too.
You have them for humans or your children, right? Like for your little toddlers. So when they crawl, they in theory it should be nice.
Sam says that having kids is hard and it's okay not to be perfect. That's true.
That's true.
Having kids is difficult.
I think on balance, I would say everybody's different, and in terms of their
Hmm.
clean level, and they need to be on the same page.
That's why I do agree with his thing. Like, do live together before like really settling down because
Mm, that's good
those are
advice.
important things. They can create how do you say it? They can create problems in the long run if you are not on the same wavelength.
You don't really know what somebody's like until you live with them for a while, and like
Hmm.
it's a completely different perspective. Garish says, "I live by home should be clean enough to be healthy and dirty enough to be comfortable." That's nice. I like that. That's a nice quote. Yeah,
Yeah,
makes me
I
think.
do like
Yeah,
that.
because I think like I've seen people clean it much cleaner than me too. So Yeah.
Yeah, like my brother is like that. Everything is white. Everything is like very serene. I mean, I just don't like. I like walking bare feet, and I don't want anything sticking on the bottom of my feet.
Mm. Are you a
That is too dirty.
are you a shoes on or shoes off indoors per
Shoes off.
yeah.
Shoes definitely off.
I find it so uncomfortable to have shoes on. It just I think it's really icky.
Yeah, I think it's icky as well. I think you've taken all the dirt from outside, and no, no, no shoes on in the house.
All right. Do you have any final thoughts for and advice for this person?
I'm glad that he realized that he was the asshole.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the Reddit comments said that he was the a hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that for his particular situation, yeah, you gotta do stuff if you're the stay at home spouse.
Yeah.
All right, Rippin, I think this one's yours. Do you wanna do the honors?
Ah, yes. Okay, am I the a-hole because I, 24 female, didn't go to celebrate my mom's 60 female birthday after she was excited my baby is the first grandchild born in the family? Long story short or something, I don't know what the TLDR means. I didn't go to my mother's 60th birthday party because she's treating my daughter different than my brother's adopted children. I'm 24 female. I have a 3-month-old baby with my husband. I have an older sister, 38 female. She is child free. My older brother, 42 male. What age differences? Jesus. Has 3 children. He's been with his partner, 45 male, for nearly 15 years. Their eldest, 24 female, is the same. What is this bio daughter of my brother's partner from a past relationship? Their other 2 children were adopted at ages 5 and 7 and are currently 14 male and 16 male. Wow. When I gave birth to my daughter, my mother cried because she was so happy to see the first baby born into the family. That didn't sit well with me, but I was tired and didn't think much about it. Since then, she's only gotten worse. She keeps saying things to me like she's so happy to finally have a baby around to spoil. I've asked her not to spoil the baby since my husband and I are fairly anti-consumerists and we already have everything we need um, for the baby. Also, we wanted to keep things relatively gender neutral and we chose not to know the sex before birth. Now my mother is going all out with pink gifts, insistent no one will know she's a girl if she's dressed like that. She complains neither me nor my sister are feminine enough for her, as and has remarked I'm at least maternal enough to want to experience motherhood. Then she went so far as to say to that she is so happy to have her first granddaughter to spoil. That finally set me off. I told her she has a granddaughter already and I don't appreciate how she's treating my baby preferentially to my brother's kids. Her claim is they live further away, 1 hour, and are all older, not babies. And she's just excited about a baby. We had an argument about it, and I haven't been talking with her much for the 2 weeks since then. My mother recently turned 60 and her party was today. I had texted her last week that I will not be attending. Read her read receipts are on and it was read immediately. Apparently at the party she acted surprised and hurt when we didn't know when we did not show up. My phone started blowing up with calls from family, most of whom were simply asking if I was all right because it's not like me to not show. I let them know I had told her I was not going to the party. This caused quite a dramatic stir. My mother is claiming she doesn't know what she did wrong. Some of the family members that called advised me that some things you just have to put aside and show up for your family even when you're mad at them, basically telling me to be the bigger person or else I'm an asshole. It's hard for me to exactly put into words why I'm upset with her, and I'm second guessing. Maybe she really is just happy to have a baby around. Maybe I am overreacting.
I'm pretty
That was the story.
I'm pretty confused.
Me too.
So let's track back. So she's giving birth to the first child that's being born in the
She's giving actual birth, but they already have like 3 grandkids.
but if we track back, the older brother, he had a biological daughter from a previous relationship.
No,
So
his partner.
oh, his partner. Okay, all right. I
Oh
see.
no, yeah, it's from his partner. Yeah,
His
his
brother's
partner.
partner. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, her brother's partner had a daughter from a previous relationship, and then they adopted 2 more children.
So OP's upset that like she's going all excited about this this new child that's being born into the family, but there are other children already in the family.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
mind you, that they are all old enough to understand that grandma doesn't see them as her real grandkids.
Mm. Mm. And I guess that isn't explicitly said, but like she's getting that impression clearly. Like OP's getting the
Uh-huh.
impression that there's different treatment. So yeah, Garish Lee saying that yeah, it's the first blood relative baby to her, to the
Yeah.
grandma. So none were related to grandma
Sam
before
says
this.
it out.
Yeah, sounds like
Sam
grandma's.
says it well, that the grandma is the a-hole.
Yeah, she is, but I think she's entitled to. I guess you can treat people however you like. You can still be a terrible person about it. She is the grandma's the a hole though.
Yeah. Um, but about her not going to the birthday party, maybe that was like, I would have gone, but because I feel like this is starting to get more, like, blowing out of proportion is not the right word, but like adding stress already on top of stress.
Mm.
But I don't think grandma has the right to say that she is going to like make this grandchild more girly and blah 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 blah. It's not her child, okay? Keep your hands off, grandma.
Yeah, it's very like living vicariously, because she's like, oh, I'm gonna have all the say about this particular child, even though she shouldn't really.
Grandma sounds very toxic. Sam says they don't understand these stroppy boomers.
Oh yeah, and Garish Lee says that's a good point. The message was read that she wasn't coming, but now she's acting like the
Mm-hmm.
victim, that she didn't know they were
Yeah,
coming. So she's trying to blow it out of proportion as well. Yeah, this is all really
yeah,
unfortunate, and I think Grandma, like no matter what you say, she probably won't really feel like closer to the other children, even though she should, and they're part of her children's lives, so
mm-hmm.
they should be as important to her as the birth children, the blood related children. But
Yeah,
that's just unfortunate that she doesn't feel the same way. Just really unfortunate for
yeah.
everybody.
It's a sad, sad situation.
Yeah, because her kids love those other children, even if they're not directly related to the grandma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that should be enough.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
All right. Do we have any final comments for this one?
Not really.
All right. It's getting more and more absurd. Grow up, grandma. Yeah, I'm with you, Garsh.
Oh
All
my
right.
god, what is
This
this one?
I thought this one was funny.
Ew.
Mental health. My mom, 65F, thinks the earth is flat. At our Super Bowl party last night, my mother told us that she believes the world is flat. She went on to say that she doesn't believe Joe Biden is real. He is a clone. That the pyramids were
Oh,
only a couple of 100 years old. Orphans aren't really orphans, they're babies grown in labs. All of these things are really troubling to me. We've had always differing political beliefs, but this is next level. Not agreeing with liberals and saying the world is flat are two different things. When I pressed her on these beliefs and asked her how she came to these conclusions, she told me she was awakened by the community she follows on a Telegram. On Telegram.
oh
on
my
on Telegram.
god.
Is that a program? Like an app or something? She accused me of
I don't
being
know. This
asleep
is probably a boomer thing.
to the real world. How do I address this? She doesn't have a history of mental illness. She has never believed any of these things before COVID. How do I get through to her without offending her? Okay, so
I feel
I
I
hope it's
feel
not
like
an actual Telegram.
this episode of Unbearable Stories is just boomers unhinged. What is it with these people?
Yeah. Well,
Hi, Sad Games TV.
hello.
What is this? This is a sort of podcast where we read Reddit MI the A-hole stories and just talk about it. Go on, see you.
Yeah, so I hope the Telegram is an actual app and not an actual telegram, like a literal telegram.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how you would have a community in with actual telegrams. Yeah, so I think people are entitled to believe whatever they want to. Actually, so even though I think everything she believes is ridiculous, um, the OP um, doesn't have a right to impose their thoughts onto the mother. I think, even though I think they're ridiculous still, but you know, people can believe whatever they want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. Is my take on it.
I would seriously question uh the mother's mental health though, as this is now like who's having this influence on her? What is this telegram and what is going on?
Does anybody know what Telegram is? Sounds like it's Garish Lee says like it's Tumblr maybe. Yeah, and she says
I
it's
I w-
not a mental health issue. It's purely
I would
beliefs.
say it is.
You would say it's
Um
mental health?
yes, like in the sense of sort of being brainwashed
Mm-hmm.
and being mind played, like, or these things can also give sign of psychosis, so this could be mental health.
Um, she said, Garish says, does she only watch Fox News? It sounds like the similar kind of demographic, like that's like a right wing kind of don't believe the government kind of ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
There is no shortage of messaging apps to choose from, but a select few have risen to the top. Telegram is one of the most popular choices, especially for the privacy conscious. Well, there you go. It's an app.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Garish. We're now enlightened. I've never heard of it before. It sounds very fuddy-duddy to me, which is probably appropriate. So, what would you do in this situation, Rippin? What do you think you would if your parent was saying equivalent things? Would you feel like an intervention is in order, or do you think you would leave them to their own beliefs?
Knowing my parents, I know Just stay away from this. Just let them talk and try to avoid those subjects.
So they come to your place and then they talk about, oh, the pyramids are where the Illuminati are growing babies in labs for orphans, and you're like, yep, yep. You want to have some cake? Change the
Yeah.
topic.
Like, really, where did you get that information? Huh,
Oh, that's
okay.
that's very fascinating.
But that's because I know my mom. You do not go into discussions with my mother. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, for me personally, I would just limit contact. Like, no. I also do not let stupid people into my life, and I don't care if it's family or not. If you come with me with that bullshit, I'm just slowly gonna fade away. Sorry.
Garish says, I do, and we always end up fighting. So I'm with you on that. Limit the conversation topics. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think even if a person believes all these things, they can still be. I mean, it could be your parent or somebody in your family. In which case, they're going to
Yeah.
be in your life no matter what. Friends, you can decide, I guess, but I
At
don't.
least
I
it's
don't think
not
it's
her
worth.
husband.
I don't think it's worth losing a friendship over these kind
Because
of
if this
beliefs.
was your partner who suddenly went all cray cray, I'd be like, no, get out. Bye.
Yeah, I guess if it's your partner, then that's kind of like a level on, like, if your beliefs are really that disjointed, you cannot really respect your partner enough to be in a relationship with them. I can
Mm-hmm.
I think that's true. You've lost friendships over those beliefs, Garish. Oh my goodness. I guess some people are very principled. My take is I'm happy for everyone to believe whatever they want to believe,
Mm-hmm.
and that's independent of whether they're a good person and fun to be friends with. So I see them as two separate things. Um, there are certain beliefs that go over the line, though. Yeah, you cannot be friends with someone who believes someone else needs to be eradicated due to gender or sexual inclinations. Yeah, I agree. There are some things that cross the line, but these, like for example, the things that they're listing here, are just like weirdo beliefs that don't really affect anything.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Rippin, do you want to go to the next one?
Yes.
Uh, wow, this one's long. All right, good luck.
Yeah, I have some very long ones. Okay. Am I the a-hole for choosing to go on a trip with my girlfriend instead of taking care of my struggling brother's son? For context, my 24 male brother, Luke, 31 male, his wife, Emma, 28 female, and their son, Kyle, 4 months, moved to my city last year because Emma got a new job. They would occasionally ask me to watch Kyle because I work from home with very flexible hours. I personally do not like kids at all, but I was happy to do it at the time because I wanted to help them. It was not that I often, maybe once or twice every 2 weeks, and Kyle was very well behaved. Now, the issue started near the end of last year when Luke decided to change careers. He was previously working remotely as well. His new job required him to go to work a lot more often and make substantially less money. Why would you choose that? This left them depending on me more and more to take care of Kyle. It went from once or twice every 2 weeks to around 3 days out of the week. To make matters worse, Kyle's behavior changed drastically. To be completely honest, I can barely stand the kid anymore, constantly running around and screaming while I'm trying to work and just overall being a little shit. My sister in law Emma was over the other day picking up Kyle and made some comments about getting rid of some of the dangerous furniture in my house, like tables with glass edges and stuff, so that my home is safer for their son, and made a joke about baby proofing my house because they're planning to have a daughter. This pissed me off, but I didn't say anything. The situation hit a breaking point last Friday when I was talking about the 1.5 week long trip I was going on with my girlfriend on the 15th. Me and my girlfriend like to travel somewhere nice at least once a month, so so we could not the past couple months because of Kyle, but I promised my girlfriend we would go somewhere exotic for Valentine's. Upon hearing this, they got pretty mad, saying who was gonna take care of Kyle, that I need to stop these childish trips, and that I need to take more responsibility because I'm an uncle now. I'm not gonna lie, after hearing this, I fucking snapped. I said that their demon child isn't my responsibility, and I'm not just gonna give up my life because they had sex without a condom. I got pretty obscene from there, and some horrible things were said. They left, and we were no longer on speaking terms. My parents and Emma's parents are on their side and extremely angry at me for refusing to pull my weight. My parents said that this is my duty and I should be sacrificing everything to help them. It's honestly got me really down, and I've cried my eyes pretty much every day since seeing those messages from my family. I'm starting to wonder if I really should be taking more responsibility. Am I the a hole for choosing my trips over my brother and nephew?
Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty much with Garish. It's their kid. It's their responsibility. You're an
Uh-huh.
uncle, and anything you do for your sibling is a courtesy, not a expectation. So
Yeah,
the fact that
exactly.
they got upset because he decided to do something for himself, um, like that just blows my mind. It's very
Exactly.
entitled and selfish of them. Um,
It's
yeah,
like they see him as their personal nanny.
exactly. Yeah,
And he doesn't even like kids. He doesn't even like kids.
and that's a good point too. Yeah, Garish says the family is upset, so the sibling has rallied the parents to their point of view as well. So they're using like the whole family against the OP. So that's pretty bad. Um, yeah,
Yeah. The overall vote for this one was not the a hole, though. And I agree with that.
yeah, absolutely.
I think it's very, very sad for OP that he has to deal with this and that he has no support from his family. But I feel like this is a breaking point, um, where he needs to stand his ground because it sounds like they will dominate his life with their children. What if he wants to have kids of his own
Yeah,
someday?
who's going to take care of that kid?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how rude is it to come in someone else's house with your kid and saying they need to baby proof it to take care of their own child? It's
Yeah,
just rude.
yeah.
He's
It's
gonna lose his relationship is suffering from this because he needs to take and his work is gonna suffer too. It's
I
not
feel
because he works from home that he has the time to watch a kid constantly.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's come to this. I would probably have already stopped giving up. I mean, I would have given up taking care of their kids like a long time
Yeah.
ago. And they seem like
Mm-hmm.
they've got some sort of routine thing going as well. So yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. They, I feel like OP is really generous, and they've exploited that generosity for a long time.
Yeah. I feel like the same. And I can understand how it was nice for once and twice every 2 weeks, especially when they're like still little babies. But like you said, he's getting to 4 months. They're getting more fussy. They're having their periods where they're like crying and thieving, and yeah,
Yeah, and Gareth says working from home is not the same as being able to look after the kids at the same time. Yeah,
exactly. That's
yeah,
like,
you got to
yeah,
work.
like I
You still
said.
have to work. Mm. All right, shall we go to the next one, Rippin?
Yes.
All right, this one's number 5. Oh, I picked a long one. All
Oh my god.
right. I'm like crammed all the way into the corner.
Ah.
Am I the a-hole for telling my dad's wife to drop dead in front of her friends and family? My 17F mom died a little over a year ago. I was living with her full time before she passed. She left me a lot of money and her house. Since the house was just going to stay empty until I was done with college, my aunt on my mum's side and I talked about it and we agreed that we would stay there since
That-
she's taking care of my
And
grandma.
she would stay there.
She would
So
stay there.
yeah.
I talked about it and we agreed that she would stay there since she's taking care of my grandma and her place was small. I will move back once I've finished schooling. My dad assumed my mum left me her money. My dad assumed my mum left me her money and left the house to my aunt. I didn't correct him because I don't trust my dad or have a great relationship with him.
Oh
I'm
god.
currently living with him, his wife Jan, and her twin daughters, 17, both lovely people, in a 3-bedroom flat. 2 months ago, he found out that my mum left me the house. I'm not sure how he found out, but he did. Since then, I haven't heard the end of it. I'm selfish for making us all stay in a tiny flat. I'm spoiled because I won't share the inheritance. I'm a terrible person for making the twins take out loans. You get the gist. This weekend was the twins' birthday at Grandma's house. Most of my dad's family were there. We get along great usually. His wife's family and some of both of their friends, along with the twins' friends. After they were done opening my present to them, they asked if that was really it. I got them matching bracelets with their birthstones, which they both loved, by the way. It got quiet, and I asked them what they were expecting. They said Jan said I was planning on surprising them on their birthday by telling them we were moving into my mum's house and helping them with college. My grandma asked Jan if that was true, and Jan started in on me again. She asked what she could do to make me stop being a B, pull my weight, help out, and be fair. I told her she could drop dead, that my mum died for me to get all these things, and she wanted me to give her daughters. Oh, she wanted me to give her daughters. I said if I wanted everything to be fair, she should drop dead, and I would share everything I had with her daughters, since we would have all lost a mother then. That it would be fair only after it happened. She and my dad started yelling at me, and my grandma and my uncle started yelling at my dad and Jan, and everything was pretty much over after that. The whole ride home, my dad and Jan were getting calls and texts from the family and friends. Then they were disappointed in them, and I was getting texts from Jan's family, the twins' friends, and a few of my own cousins saying that I was selfish. I usually don't fight with my cousins, so I'm really starting to think that I might be selfish, and I might have went too far at the twins' party. Am I the a-hole? Oh,
No.
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 Welcome in.
I
Mama
mean,
needs a nap. Welcome,
I agree.
Bruce Daly.
JFK's head just did that. I don't understand that. Who? Uh, yeah, I don't know
I
enough
don't understand
about
that.
that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Maybe JFK is like another acronym that we don't think it's not the acronym we
Yeah,
think it
we
is.
are not American, so this reference is not working for us.
Rippin's from Belgium,
um,
and
Ye.
I'm from
And
Australia.
CU is from, yeah, the land of the deadly animals.
So this one was pretty long, but I think the gist of it is
That
like
the person is not the a-hole.
yeah, the person got an inheritance from her biological mother, and she's living with like another family now, and the other family
Yeah.
feels entitled to said things. I think is the general idea. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not her.
Um,
She's not the a hole. It's her inheritance. She gets to decide what she wants to
it's
do with it.
yeah, it's not the first time I hear this kind of was that like the last time also a story, but then it was like the other way round that they expected to like live in the house of the daughter who got the inheritance. These things happen quite often.
Hmm.
I don't know why parents see themselves entitled to kids' inheritance.
Yeah, and it should be like held in a trust or something, right? But I guess sometimes they don't organize that properly because like I think legally like you can keep it in a trust until they're like of age, and then it's like less of a
I
problem.
just don't understand why she didn't stay with the aunt and grandmother in the house. Why
Their
she
living
went back to
arrangement was a
living with
little
her
bit,
dad.
yeah, the living arrangement's a little bit complicated, I thought.
There's an edit though.
Yeah, let's look at the edit. Oh, Gareth says she
Oh,
was
right,
going
she
to
was
college in
going.
another town. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that was
yeah,
right at the start.
yeah.
I remember. Thank you guys for so much support. When everyone who usually backs you says that you're an a-hole, it's hard to believe that you're not. But as some of you have, but some of you guessed, my cousins heard the word inheritance and got greedy, and that's why they sided with them. I was getting texts asking for money from them these past few days. I am moving in with my grandma on my dad's side. She picked me up this morning, and we're moving stuff instead of going to school today. The twins talked to their friends, and they texted their apologies. Although, I gotta move this a little bit. Uh, oop.
Although I'm not going to pay for their whole college experience, I think I'm going to help them buy books and with on campus living. They have really had my back on this, and that's amazing. I think that I would not do that, but okay. I'm going and see with my oh, no contact. He chose her over me, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I
So,
still wouldn't like.
I mean, if we take it at face value, it seems like a resolution, like a nice one. They look,
Mm-hmm.
they seem like they made their peace, and hopefully it's genuine.
But she seems to really love the twins sisters. So,
She does, yeah, yeah. She mentioned that a
but
few
I don't
times.
think it's. I really don't think it's her responsibility to pay for the books and the campus living. She has no tie to them whatsoever.
Well, I mean, they get along. I mean, they're a family in the sense that they're together under the same roof.
Not anymore, no.
Well, not anymore,
They
but
were
like,
they weren't. They were for a short while, and they won't be again. I don't see why she needs to pay. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but
oh, I'm not saying that she needs to, but she. It
I
looks
don't
like
think
she
it's a
wants
smart
to.
decision.
You don't think it's
Yeah, I
smart?
know, but I don't think it's a smart. No.
Hmm. I would still be a bit wary of them because I feel um,
Yeah, me
like
too.
the parents seem to have. I mean, the dad seems to have some sort of I need to get a cut of this inheritance kind of a thing, and and the twins are a bit like they're gonna listen to the
Yeah,
dad.
I don't trust it. Yeah.
Okay, well, um, so Gareth says she wants it to be a gesture of the relationship. I think it's very generous. Yeah, I think she's being like the bigger person here, and it's her
Yeah.
inheritance, her choice. They get along. She wants to help them out, so more power to her. Yeah, and hopefully her relationship with the twins still remains really positive out of all of this, because that would be like the really
I hope
annoying thing.
so.
Because like yeah, as Gareth says, like if you get rich and then people find out, then like unfortunately that might isolate you and ruin your personal relationships
Mm-hmm.
if you don't give everybody all the things that you have, so that you don't have to give to everybody. So that's unfortunate. Hopefully she makes it out of
Mm-hmm.
this. All right, so should we go to the next one, Rippin?
Yeah.
I said I wanted to pick short ones because I get lost in these like really long stories, but I
Yeah.
break my own rule there. All right, this
Okay,
one's for
I
you.
like this one.
All right, let's hear it.
Am I the a-hole for not canceling my plans after my boyfriend learned about his diagnosis? I, 25 female, work in event planning, so I always get invites or tickets to go to high-end events. There was a huge event coming up that I was really excited to go to. I asked my boyfriend, 27, 3 days before the event to accompany me, and he said yes. So originally the plan was my boyfriend, my stepsister, and myself. On the day of the event, he said he had a doctor's appointment, so he isn't sure if he can still attend. I said no problem, and I waited for him to return home. A couple hours later, he texted me and said he has something to tell me. I got worried and called him immediately. I asked if everything was okay, and he said he was diagnosed with anemia, so he'll have to take supplements. I expressed how sorry I was and spoke to him for about 2 hours, gave him pep talks, told him I'm here if he needs me, reassured him that I will always love him, etc. I then asked if he would still like to attend the event with me to take his mind off of things, to which he responded that he doesn't like the artists performing, so he'd rather go another event. I said no problem, I will go with my stepsister alone. He got upset and hung up. I called him back, but he started an argument about how I'm selfish for going out while he's going through something. I told him that I already made the plans with my stepsister and I can't back out now as she's depending on me. I also don't drink, so I would have been the sober driver, and if I didn't go, she couldn't. I told him that this event is the only event my sister really wanted to attend, and I promised her that I would take her months prior. I even told him I'll see him the next day, and he said be safe and hung up. I got to the event around 11 and spent the entire event alone, just sitting down and watching the show by myself, having food and drinks. When I returned home around 2 a.m., I called him and he was awake playing video games. His first words were, "Look who cares about me again." I said I'm too tired for this, and he responded by saying that of course I'm tired. I went out without him knowing he's upset, but I love partying and meeting new people so much that I didn't think to stay with him on the phone. I told him he's being ridiculous and I would have stayed if it were just us who planned to go. He said my priorities are off and I'm an ignorant a-hole. Keep in mind, I don't attend parties unless it's with my family, and I only attend events a few times a year. So, am I the a hole for not staying on the phone with him and attending the event instead?
What's how bad is anemia? Do you know what anemia is like?
I have anemia.
You have anemia. Can you
Yeah,
can you tell us about anemia?
it's just, it's not a big deal. It's just shortages of stuff in your blood. Like shortage of iron, shortage of certain minerals. You take some vitamin supplements and you're good.
Okay, all right. So
It's not a big deal.
he sounded.
It's not.
I was wondering whether this is like he had to take a few tablets every now and then versus he had like you know 10 days to live
This is
kind of
not
thing.
a dead. This is not a deadly disease. He's not like. This is not going to give life altering things.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, the boyfriend sounds like a big baby. So it's
Yeah, I mean, if it were me, I still would have gone to the event. If, even so, I mean,
yeah.
exactly like Garish says, if it had been cancer or something, definitely the a hole. But this is just ridiculous. He's such a crybaby.
Yeah.
It's like
I
Mama
agree.
says. It proves how obnoxious people are.
It's not a life threatening thing. Okay. All right. Cool.
No. So I would say not the a hole.
I mean, it would be like in the ideal world, he would say, "Oh, I've got anemia," and then she's like, "Oh, do you want me to stay with you so to give you support?" and and that would be fine. But because she didn't say that, and he had the expectation that she would. That's where there's a lot of conflict. But I think he's
He's very
probably,
entitled
yeah, exactly, yeah.
and petty. Because he was then like, when she called him back late at night, I would be like, eh.
Yeah, because if he, instead of getting angry, if he said, "Oh, can you please stay with me? I'm not feeling down," then maybe that would change the whole complexion of this whole thing. Yeah, because
Yeah,
like
but
Gareth
still,
said,
I don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
he clearly did want her to stay with him, but yeah, he just got angry instead of saying what he wanted,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's a big baby. All
But
right.
still, I don't think in this situation with, I mean, I don't think he could expect her to cancel and stay with her for being anemic. It's like, oh, you have an allergy now, and you'll have to take allergy pills for the rest of your life. I mean, what?
I get, yeah, I know it's a small thing, but like couples supporting each other is a thing, because like
Yes, but
I
this you can also be overly sensitive and overreacting, and this is no matter how he stated. If no, 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 be an adult, be mature,
mm,
and be grown up. Not every little thing that happens to you needs to be a moment where you need to be cuddled and pampered and taken care of.
mm.
I'm
I think
no.
if this were to happen, like if I were OP and my girlfriend said, "Oh, please stay with me. I'm not feeling great because of this," I would.
I think you're too nice.
Okay. I wouldn't call her a little baby. It's, you just need to take tablets,
I would.
girl.
I would. I'd be like, what? I would be even like when they said like I'm not going to the event. I'm like, what? No.
She made plans with the
Okay,
other
I'm
person.
going.
Okay. Yeah. Even still, I would prioritize my partner. No matter how. It might be a little ridiculous, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like Garish said, if it were like something serious, like a life-threatening disease, yes. But you can't go crying for attention for every little thing that's happening to you in your life. If you do that, if you were in the situation, you went to your girlfriend, next time when she bumps her toe to a cabinet and she's like really in pain, you'll have to bring her to the hospital. Or when she is feeling down because her boss said she wasn't doing a good enough job, she would have to stay home and you'd have to stay home with her and then make her favorite food, which so she would feel bad. No, see you need to be more assertive.
I probably would do all of the things you said. That's womp womp.
No, 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 no. If you ever have a girlfriend like that, me and Garish are gonna come up and Mama to say, nice to you.
uh, yeah, Mama says I think it's fair to stay home if your significant other asks you to stay with them. Yeah, to me it's more, it's not so much the reason, it's more like your partner is feeling down for whatever reason. It could be, you might think it's ridiculous, but it's important to them. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, but I do. Yes, but I think it's just feeding into a certain need for attention.
Like a neediness,
And
yeah.
some people, yeah, and some people need to be like no.
Yeah. Okay. That's big babyism. Yeah.
Even if it is with good intentions from you, or like, yeah, I want to be there for your partner, at some point they will feel like they can take too much of you. And when you are at a point where you're like, no, I really want this for myself, then is that is when the problems is going to start, because you gave so much, they are going to assume that it is going to be for them.
Mm.
Is it?
I
Mhm.
also have another take on this, in that like I think we're not strong like all the time in all ways. So like maybe like with physical pain someone might be like this, whereas with emotional pain they could be very hardy. So because of
Yeah.
that, like we can't take the same standard and apply it to everybody. So for you, like if I cut my hand and that
Mm-hmm.
might be nothing for me, but if my partner cuts her hand and it really hurts her and it's causing her a lot of distress, like she wouldn't feel it in the same way. But she might not be, in air quotes, the big baby for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I've probably dived a bit too deep in this. Yeah,
It's okay. I have little sympathy.
all right, let's move on then. Um, yeah, is it mine? All right, it's probably mine.
Uh, it's mine, I think.
I think this one's mine.
But it's your story. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did we get the order wrong? No, no,
No,
you
no,
read
no,
you read
it's
you read
right.
this
That
one.
was
Yeah,
mine.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go.
You don't need to worry. You're entitled to say that you would do that for your partner, and I think it's a very nice thing that you would do that. It's just my trust in people has declined severely to the point where I'm like, no.
Yeah, and I think I wouldn't necessarily be attracted to someone who's a big baby all the time, and that's what Mama is saying. Like,
Hmm.
it's a personality thing. Then you should take that into account if you want to be with that person. Which
Well,
is,
it's not necessarily a big baby thing. I think it's more like I fear that there would be like a power struggle. I don't feel like he is being a big baby. I feel like he's being entitled to her attention. And that is where my problem lies. I mean, I know people are more sensitive to stuff than other people, but the way he treats this and by being so petty, I don't feel like this is about him being so emotionally distraught by having heard he's anemic. It's more like she's not wanting to give up that for me, and I'm being petty about it's not about the anemia anymore, or he would have brought that back into the subject. But yeah, I don't know.
so you're saying it's like it's a attention. I own your attention, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And that is what, because I do understand that some people are way more sensitive than others, and of course I would care for my partner if I knew that like um they were really bothered by something, but it doesn't
You,
feel right. I
you
feel
just
like
don't
it's a
believe
power
them, right?
struggle.
You
No.
think it's like the power, like it's the power balance between the relationship, not
Yeah.
about the actual thing that happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, if you don't trust your partner to that degree, then I don't know if I could be in a relationship with that person in
Yes,
the
that's
first
why I'm
place.
single.
Oh, Rippin. I'm giving you heart signs. I don't know if you can see it. All right. Um.
Ah, yes.
All right. So let's go to the next one. Am I the a-hole for calling my wife the most beautiful woman in the world in front of her sister? I, male 29, am a doctor, and my wife, female 29, is another high demand, high pay field with long hours. I've recently been working more odd hours as opposed to my wife's normal 8 about 6 routine. As such, we have not really seen much of each other for about a week. We're also not really normally very lovey dovey, cuddly, all that kind of stuff. We make sure not to do public displays of affection
Place affection.
and to keep it not sexual most of the time. Also, her sister, female 33, has recently divorced from her husband for reasons that are irrelevant in my opinion. Just for context, her sister had an Indian style arranged marriage and does not see the point of love marriages in general. She is taking this quite
Okay.
hard, as in India, where she got her previous marriage from, there is sadly a lot of stigma surrounding women who are divorced, which means if she doesn't
Mm-hmm.
find a love marriage, she will likely be alone for the rest of her life, as very few people will want an arranged marriage with her. I personally think the whole concept of arranged marriages is fine, but a lot of the standards and stigmas surrounding it are quite backwards. So, my sister has been staying with me and my wife. We're okay about it, and honestly, she's a very nice roommate, always cleaning up after herself, super respectful of rules of the house. Recently, my wife and I got lucky, and I had my workday end on a 5 on Friday, and she came home early. We were really excited once we were both home and we were together. We decided to watch the movie together for a while, and while we were lying on the couch cuddling, sweet talking to each other a little bit, her sister came into the room and sat down on the couch and we watched the movie. We weren't really saying anything, to be honest, just like how we missed each other and how it was painful without each other and how we loved each other a lot, that kind of stuff. I was trying to be soft because the sister looks like she was actually watching the film, but at one point I just held my wife's face and told her, "You're the most beautiful woman in the world." I didn't notice it at the time, but I believe that's when the sister left the room. Later on that night, after my wife had gone off to prepare for bed, her sister came out and yelled at me. She would basically accuse me of cuddling my wife specifically to mock the fact that she doesn't have a husband anymore, and that I was saying that she wasn't beautiful when I told my wife that she was the most beautiful. I tried to calm her down, but as she got more riled up, fixating on the comparisons between my wife and her, getting a bit too close for my liking, and asking me questions like, "What makes her hotter than me?" And then she held out for a hug, crying a bit, but I shook my head because I was a bit concerned how she went from yelling at me to wanting physical comfort. Eventually, she just backed off and said, "Okay," tearfully, and walked away. Am I the a-hole for saying it? Should I have given her a hug? Whoa.
No, no, no. What is it? What? Wait, I missed the part where she. How does the sister suddenly come into the house?
I think they live together.
Yeah, I would get the sister out. Get the sister out. This is red flag things.
She's been a good roommate otherwise, they said. But yeah, yeah.
Still, red flag. She came to the husband after her sister was getting ready for bed and was saying things like, "What makes her hotter than me?" and then wanting a hug. I feel like this is getting a bit,
It's a bit weird.
yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable. I understand the guy is backing off, not the a hole.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I think the whole thing is like the sister is, yeah, um, she's very conscious about like finding love in her specific
Mm-hmm.
situation, and it's basically jealousy. Because normally, you know, calling your wife the most beautiful woman in the world shouldn't elicit any angry response from anybody ever. It's definitely just a
Mm-hmm.
thing that people say. And to get a reaction out of that is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I actually feel sad, sorry for the sister, but the OP is obviously not an a-hole for whatever they've done. It's their house and they can do whatever they want, and she's there
Yeah,
as a
exactly.
guest. So, well, I think that one's pretty open and shut case. What do you think, Rippin?
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. The guy is not the a hole.
Garish says a hug might have led to her trying for more, and that would have pissed her off
Exactly.
even more when rejected. Do you think? Are you saying like she's into the guy, into OP? That might
I
be.
don't think she's I don't think she's necessarily into him, but because she's so disappointed about the divorce and feeling rejected and not being able to like have someone to love, she kind of probably wants what her sister has, and that could maybe project in her mind that she wants the husband.
Mm, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean. She's just trying to see
It's I
what she
don't
can get.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's the closest thing to her that she could possibly like I would not say she's seducing him, but like attract. So
She
yeah,
wants to see if she's still got value as a wife, so to speak.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Gareth says she's asking for validation. Yeah, that makes sense. She's definitely jealous. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think everybody
Yeah.
thinks she's jealous because she wouldn't have had that
Yeah.
reaction otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
It's their house; they don't
How
have to
many
change
stories
because
do
of
we
that.
need to go through?
We've got three more. Do you think we could get through them, Rippin?
Yes, I'm just getting a bit hungry.
Okay. All right. Well, here's our next one. Here you go. This one's yours, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I the a-hole for paying for college for my housekeeper's children but not for my stepchildren? I, 54 male, have a son, 18 male. His mother died during childbirth due to complications. I had a job that takes up a lot of my time between investments and stocks, which didn't leave me with that much time to take care of my son. Because of that, I hired a nanny, Maria, who took care of him 24/7. Maria is an immigrant who came to work here in my country, but she has two children the same age as mine. I've always been a busy person, but I've tried my best to be present in my son's life so he doesn't miss a father. When my son turned 16, I stopped working and started living with the profit my account earned. A year later, I married my current wife, Livia. Livia has a 19-year-old daughter who is currently taking a gap year before going to the university. This month, my son left home to go to college. As he is now a grown man, I decided to fire Maria, but I threw a surprise farewell party and announced to her that I was going to be giving her a certain amount of money. In total, it would be enough for her to pay for her children's college expenses. They were accepted to public colleges in her country and not to have to work anymore. The problem started when my wife started complaining that I was paying college for strangers' children but not her daughters. My wife works, she has savings equal to mine, and could very well pay for her daughter's college. But she expects me to pay as a gift because, according to her, she will only see me as a good parent if I show her I care. I said I wouldn't do that and that she could pay for her college expenses, and I corrected her when she called Maria a stranger because she stopped taking care of her children to take care of mine. So that would be the least thing I could do. My stepdaughter, wife, and in-laws are calling me an a-hole because my close friends and family said I am not an a-hole, but I wanted to know what the internet thinks.
Well,
So that was it.
yeah, I don't think he is, but that's just my
I
take.
don't think either.
This is a pretty this is a kind of situation where I'm not really sure about because it's like when two families come together as opposed to like you've got kids from another family and kids from another family kind of thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that makes things complicated, and there could be a world in which like like if he paid for um, his new wife's children's college, that would be a completely reasonable thing to do. But he doesn't. He doesn't want to, and I think he's
Yeah,
entitled
I
to
don't think that's
not
that
doing it if he doesn't
normal.
want to. What's not
Yeah,
normal?
I know. I don't think, even if they are remarried and stuff, and he's like their stepdad, he's not their dad. They have a dad. They
Mm,
have two parents who can pay for their colleges, who need to take care of their kids. They are not really his kids. He has a kid. So if he would pay that, it would be very generous, but it cannot be expected because they are not his kids. They have a dad. If they want someone to help pay alongside the mother, they have to ask their dad, not their stepdad. If he does that, again, generous, but it's not something you can ask or expect him to do. And this is like his gift to Maria, but you could also see it like a pension, or like when she would be in a company and she would get fired, she would get money as well. So I mean, if he wants to give it to them, I mean, it's more like a fire present. I don't know.
I think it's really nice of him to do that, and it's
Yeah.
probably just a case of Maria's been in like their family, even though they're not related per se. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he feels an affection to Maria because she's been around and she's been in, like interacting with their family for
For
so long.
18 years.
She she
For
she's
18
probably
years.
like almost feels like a family member to OP.
Exactly. She
Yeah.
basically raised his son.
Surrogate mother. Yeah, that's right. Is
Yeah.
his wife paying for his son's college? Yeah, I don't think so. That doesn't sound like that doesn't sound like it's happening.
It.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the opposite
Exactly.
isn't happening. So it's interesting. That's a good point, Mama. That she expects the guy to pay for her kid's college, but she doesn't pay for his son's college. So yeah, you got to
Have
go
a
look.
nice look,
Have a
Garish.
nice look, Garish. Thanks for hanging out with us. Your comments have been super fun. Um,
Yes, and very on point.
very on point. I think you're probably better at this than I am, Garish. All right. Do you want to go to the next one, Rippin?
Yeah.
All right. This one's mine. I like picking the weird ones, so. Um, Garish, you say you're just very judgmental. Well, I think you do need that. That's a good thing to have,
Yeah,
for
and
stuff like
it's on
this.
point.
I'm a very unjudgmental person. I feel in general. I could be wrong
You're
about that.
very nice. You're very nice to you.
Okay, so this one's: Am I the a-hole for not letting my sister believe she can talk to a bird? My 16 male family has a pet parrot. They're all pretty much obsessed with him, and my younger and older sisters both keep buying him toys, new food, making him new fruit and vegetable mixes to try out, etc. My parents also pay a lot of attention to him and even set up an extra room where we have for his cage so he can sleep better at night. He has been with us for a few months now, and my family's obsession still hasn't died down. I've been mostly indifferent since I'm not the biggest fan of animals, and my parents keep him away from my room. Luckily for me, that doesn't. It seems like he doesn't like me anyways, so it's easier to avoid him flying to my shoulder or anything like that. The problem, though, is that today is my sister Emma's 10 female was talking quietly to the bird. She was holding him and saying things like, "You know I love you, right?" and kissing him on the head while the parrot would just mimic the sound. It went on for a while and she repeated it enough that it seemed like she was looking for a response, so I told her, "You know he doesn't understand you, right?" After I said that, she just looked at me and made a sour face and ignored me. I didn't want her to actually believe that this bird could understand what she was saying, since she watches a lot of Disney movies, and I feel like they could be giving her the wrong idea. I gently
Oh my
explained to
god.
her that it's just a bird, and she doesn't understand things like we do. She told me to stop bothering her, and ended up leaving the room and told my mum about it. My mum told me that she believed that it was harmless for my sister to talk to a pet and that the bird reciprocated her feelings. So I told her that this will harm my sister's way of thinking and get her bullied in school. She told me to drop it and not to get involved anymore. Am I the a-hole? I think my sister is old enough to understand what I'm saying, and my mum is just too nice. Ooh, this is
Oh my
complicated.
god. This guy has a vendetta against the bird.
Do you think so?
Ah, stupid bird. They
OP
love him more than me.
OP is jealous of the bird, Mama says. You do the same thing to your
Yeah,
cat? Well, a
me too.
cat's
I
not quite
love
the
my
same to a
kitty
bird.
cat. These little parrots are super intelligent.
Mm.
I've seen videos on TikTok all the time with these little parrots like being like, oh my god, they're so cute. I would want one, but I'm an animal lover, so
Yeah, I think the bird probably doesn't understand what the words mean, but that doesn't mean that the bird can't have
he doesn't understand love.
love. Yeah, so that those are
Mm.
different things. Um, so maybe do you think that the OP is genuinely looking out for the kid, saying, "Oh, well, if I'm telling her, my little sister, that you shouldn't say that, otherwise you'll get mocked in school." Would that be a thing?
I
Th-
don't
th-
think people in school would mock you for talking to your pet.
They would like a 10-year-old probably think like
She's
that's pretty
10.
cool, right? Like, hey, this
Yeah.
kid's got a pet parrot, and she's like, and the parrot can talk. That's That's probably something pretty cool to a 10-year-old.
I see. He
Or am I a
just
bit?
sounds like a moody teenager.
Yeah. It sounds like jealousy, but maybe not jealousy. Maybe more like sour grapes. I think. No, not sour grapes. Just like a teenager who doesn't understand the whole thing. It's like, why isn't this about me?
Mm-hmm. Oh well. I do think he's well, a-hole is maybe a bit of a big word in this situation, but let it go, dude. Let it
Yeah,
go.
I think let it go. You don't have to like the parrot, but just don't be such a sourpuss.
Yeah. They still love you too. Don't be jealous of the bird.
Yeah, they still care about you. I think. Do you have the
Teenagers.
pet bird, Rippin?
No, I had a chicken, but he died. She died 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I
unfortunate.
was really sad because it was really sad because I went out every morning. I feed my bunny and then I go to my chicken and I feed my chicken. So I come out and like, hey, bunny, and my bunny comes out and running and I gave her seeds and all that. And then I walk towards the chicken coop. Yes, Chicoletta. And I'm like, Chicoletta, Chicoletta. And normally she comes out like, look, out of her house and she jumps against the chicken coop to greet me. And she was not coming. And I'm like, this is strange. So I immediately went in and opened the coop and it looked like she was sleeping. And I'm like, because she laid there so peacefully, like this. And I'm like, huh? And I touched her and she was like, yeah, you immediately know she was gone. And
Oh,
I was like staring there at my chicken. I was so upset. So yeah,
oh,
she's gone.
she's gone to a better place. Maybe. I
Yeah,
actually don't know.
she looked so. She was such a pretty chicken.
Oh, did she
Yeah,
did she give you eggs? Was
she
she a?
stopped laying eggs for a couple of months now. So maybe she was just old. I don't
Mm,
know. I don't know how long chickens live, but I've had her for like probably 5 years now.
Masquerader sent a YouTube link in my Discord explaining like how to raise chickens and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I think 5 years is about normal for the age of a lifespan for a chicken.
Oh, yeah. She didn't look like sick or unhealthy. She looked really pretty, like perfectly white. She had just had her new feathers, so I was like, yeah, I'm sad. But I
And
know
eggs
pets
are
don't
so
live
expensive too.
forever. Eggs are expensive. Now we have to buy our eggs again.
Mm. All right, shall we go to the last one, Rippin?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This looks like a good one. I'm trying to fit it on the screen. All right. You know what? I'll make it so that the edits
Or
we
for
can we
later.
we can
Yeah.
we can do you can read the edits later. All right.
Yeah. Okay. My wife is so neglectful. Oh, wait. Am I the a hole for telling my wife to wash the dishes properly? My wife is so neglectful when it comes to chores and does a half assed job. Today was the third time this week I found a glob of residue in my plate and I lost it. I grabbed the plate and brought my wife over to the sink and demonstrated to her how to properly scrub the entire plate, and she just zoned off and stared into space. I told her to stop being disrespectful and watch my demonstration because she clearly doesn't understand how to wash the dishes properly. Or maybe now that I think about it, she is just pretending to be incompetent at it. She started crying when I said this and told me to leave her alone, and she ran to the bathroom. Now I feel bad for making her cry, but I am sick of her not doing a proper job. Am I the a hole?
So
Um,
I see this in my mind playing out, and because he's the one telling the story, he's probably missing the thing where he was basically shouting at her and being really condescending about the whole situation.
Yes. Also, maybe your wife is depressed because if you're talking to her and she's staring like blankly ahead in the distance, something's not right. It's like Mama tells says she either hates him or she's like clearly struggling mentally or something.
I I didn't detect that myself, but you might know better than me. I'm not saying that that's not what's happening, but I didn't read that.
Well, I mean, if you were explaining something to me and I would like zone out of it and not pay attention, that's not a normal thing.
But it could just be like him being really condescending and like it's like, oh, this is how you wash dishes, you idiot. And then like, would you pay attention to
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Then that yeah, exactly. Like I said, then it's because she hates him.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Um, Mama says it's probably not the first time he's criticized her, and
Hmm.
probably for like similar stuff. Like, oh,
I'm
this is how you brush your
very
teeth.
curious about the edits.
This is how you wash the clothes.
You
Um,
didn't cook the potatoes long enough. You didn't fold the bed sheets the right way.
Everybody does their household things differently, so um,
Also, it depends. Like I've had that too. Like when I eat spaghetti with cheese, and molten cheese is very hard to wash off a plate. So I've had it when I wash the plates, and I afterwards like see oh there's like still something sticking to it, and you mean it's not really sometimes it's just difficult to wash plates, you know?
I think like I nobody's perfect, so like eventually, if you live with someone, they're going to, hey, MC Gum, thanks for the raid, welcome in. You're gonna
Hi
get to
MC.
you're going to get to a point where they're not going to clean one plate in like completely clean at some point in your lifetime, and that's just going to happen. Things like that, just nobody's perfect all of the time. You're going to miss a spot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the question is, if it happens like a lot, is there a way you can subtly tell your partner to like this is just something you've noticed? Is it possible to do that, or is it just something you never talk about?
I think everything should be open for conversation, but it's the way you do it that depends on how it will turn out.
Hmm.
There's a
Yeah,
respectful way for doing this. Like if you're really that grossed out, you could be like, "Oh, there's like still a spot in on my plate. I don't really like that," or something. I
but
don't know.
what you've said is like you can see how difficult having that conversation would be though, like because like what you're saying is awkward, right? Like I would feel awkward doing that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, me too. Like
it
Mama says, maybe he should wash the dishes himself.
that's
If
probably,
you're good at explaining it, I mean,
if you don't like how someone does it, maybe you should go do it. Yeah, that's fair enough.
I'll see the first edit. So, edit 1. Okay, so most people are making giant assumptions about the distribution of labor in a relationship. I do the dishes and all other chores half the time, and I do a proper job without being reminded beforehand. Meanwhile, my wife has to be constantly reminded and begged to do her turn of chores, whether that be dishes or mopping, and she whines and complains when I remind her to do it, and will do a half-assed job and rush through so she can get back to whatever else she is doing. I take my household responsibilities seriously because I respect the value of living in a clean home, while my wife acts incompetent at doing chores to get out of doing them or because she doesn't feel like it. Also, I told her the first 2 times this week when she left dirty plates. I asked if she could be more thorough while cleaning the dishes because it's gross to find residue on them. She just rolled her eyes and said, "Yeah, yeah," and blew me off. Um, this is very similar to the previous story we had.
I guess so. Yeah, yeah. It is a little bit. She really doesn't like him. Mama says.
Seems like it. I'll read the other edits. Now people are telling me to just let her do different chores, but y'all don't understand this is her attitude towards all household responsibilities. Her laziness for chores isn't just when it comes to dishes. She does all the laundry under the same settings because it's too hard to remember which settings to use for each type of clothing when I literally made a list guide for her so she could remember each type. When it comes to vacuuming, she tries to finish as fast as she can so the rooms are left with giant patches and streaks of dust. It's her overall attitude of neglect that is bothering me because she expects me to do a proper job when it's my turn, so she knows she can get away with acting incompetent. And I know she's not incompetent at doing these chores because whenever we have guests that she cares about coming over, she'll somehow muster up the energy and knowledge to properly clean stuff and take cleaning seriously. Context about bringing her over, I left the table with my plate, went to the sink, and in a normal volume but annoyed tone asked my wife to come over. She said seriously annoyed, but then agreed to come. I said she need to scrub all the residue as demonstrated. She paid no attention, so I said, "Can you stop being disrespectful in a normal volume?"
Hmm.
Um,
They have a lot of problems. Yeah, and this goes back to another thing we said earlier. Like, you need to live with your potential partner before
yeah,
you get married.
we said that before too.
Yeah, because you don't know how that, like, their level of cleanliness is acceptable. Um,
Yeah.
oh,
Um,
MC Gum. No, who told? Somebody told me that they don't even do dishes. They just have paper plates. I can't remember who told me that.
oh my god.
Was it you, MC? I thought it might have been you. I can't remember.
Who does that?
And maybe
Lazy,
Mama,
lazy, lazy.
maybe Mama, did you say that as well? I can't remember. I think somebody said they did it occasionally, although I can't remember. If it's veggie or tabley dishes or meaty dishes, I'm not kidding. Meatloaf. You have both, yeah. Yeah, everybody's different, but I think dragging your
There can also be cultural differences.
mm, absolutely. I just think like he's probably treating it like he's doing it in a terrible way by like treating her like an idiot while he's explaining her how to do the things, and that's just not
Mm-hmm.
helpful for anybody. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and there comes to a point where some of these chores, like if you do it the wrong way, it's actually dangerous. So like if you
Mm-hmm.
were cooking and like your chicken is still like raw on the inside, then that's definitely like worth
Mm-hmm.
bringing up to your partner because like
Yeah.
you could get sick or even worse. So um, but you don't say it in an angry way. It's just like you know you just need to let the person know.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if he's an a-hole. I just think they are just not a good match.
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
wouldn't
he's an a-hole.
I wouldn't
I
say
just think he's
either of them
a
are clearly
frustrated
the
man.
yeah. I agree. They're not very compatible. Their cleanliness levels are different, and then they explain and like it's rubbing on each other by having this conversation.
Yeah. How did that? These things are so complicated.
It's Transformers.
Ah, I think it's like this. Is it like this? Yes, it's like this.
You got a
Okay.
nice toy.
Nee, mama. Förändra robot.
Ja, maar ik weet het. Mama beleving. Mama gaat straks komen.
Mama. Mama. Ik heb toch al niet.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
little Rippin's so
He
fun.
had a he had a transformer like a couple of years ago, and we don't know anymore how to make it transform back to a car.
That's unfortunate.
And he's like constantly asking, and I'm like, oh no, this one again.
Not the same one.
Like, no, it's like this.
It's
Okay.
like a Rubik's cube that you can't fix, right?
Exactly. They're worse. Because a Rubik's Cube is fixable. But
All right.
yeah.
So that's probably all we got for today. Do you have any
Yes.
final thoughts, Rippin? Just stay like
Well,
make sure you
we've
live with your
learned a
spouse
big lesson. Yeah, live with your spouse
before you get married.
before you marry. Animals can feel love, and you can be nice to your partner when they need you, but be protective of your own boundaries.
Very well said, Rippin. All right. So
Well, I'm trying my best.
all right. So I'm happy to call that the end of the stream, Rippin. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm hungry, so